Hey, this is Michelle, and you're listening to Words with Michelle, the podcast, a show where I sit down and have conversations with influencers on a range of topics, anything from natural hair, employment, discrimination, food, relationships, and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you want to send me an email, hit me up at michelle@wordsmichelle.com. Thanks for listening to another episode of Words with Michelle, the podcast. I was actually going to create just one more show for 2020, like a recap show, but for some reason I've been thinking about an interview that I did in late 2017. At the time, I became obsessed with the artwork by painter Kofi Frempong, and I really wanted to feature him on my blog. So I did, and I posted the interview in early 2018. But since then, I've seen his work all over social media, as well as the CBC, and I'm happy to say that I've enjoyed watching people fall in love with his art. But over a couple of weeks ago, something told me to go back to the interview and listen to it again. Although we spoke about how he became an artist, I really liked what he had to say about conquering his fear of painting and coming out of his comfort zone. I thought it was a great theme to revisit because I believe more than ever we all need to overcome fear so that we can do the things that will bring us joy. So if you need a little inspiration on finding your passion or just need inspiration, check out the show. Thanks for being on the show, Kofi. So what sparked your interest in painting?
So for the longest, I've had a fear of painting.
Okay.
Like a lot of anxiety around painting. Because for maybe, I'd say so I've been doing art for 25 years, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
And I've always been really good at drawing and working with markers and pencil crayons, but I had a lot of anxiety around painting because I just didn't feel like my paintings matched up to my drawings. So the fear of judgment.
Did anyone ever say anything about your paintings back then? Is that why you feel like you had the fear?
No, that's the thing. I didn't even give people a chance.
Oh, okay. So just how you felt.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
Exactly. So, all through high school, I almost failed out of art class a few times.
Wow.
I just wouldn't do any of my painting assignments. And in high school, a huge part of our marks were based on painting projects. And so then I managed to make it to college, doing design foundations and art fundamentals. And even then, it was still the same level of anxiety.
Wow.
So I struggled in whenever we did anything to do with painting. And then from there, I left my courses in art and pursued my other passion, which was working in the social sector. I'm a community health worker.
Mm-hmm.
Did really well at that. I also met my wife there. We got married and started a family and purchased a house. The list goes on, building a life with somebody. While all that was happening, I just put art on the side because, working in the community, it's not a 9-to-5 job. And also supporting my wife through school, as well as, trying to help her figure out what her career path would be.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I didn't have time, but it's more like I didn't create the time or invest the time into my art. So I took maybe 6-7 years off of art.
Wow.
And then the day that she got into her midwifery program at Ryerson, I guess there's almost a sigh of relief and a feeling that, okay, now I can focus on myself more, financially. financially and energetically.
Mm-hmm.
Around that time, I also had a monthly event called Freedom Fridays
Okay.
happening, in which I created a platform for artists of all types, performing artists, visual artists, culinary artists, to do their thing. And the whole theme around that was to get outside of your comfort zone and showcase your talent. So that's how I pretty much started painting. Because I was like, if I'm preaching for people to get outside of their comfort zone and expand on, their gifts, then I should be able to do the same thing. So,
Wow.
yeah, I painted my first piece in front of a crowd of over 500 people.
Wow. Okay, so you went
Yeah,
from fear to like no fear. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I figured, let me do the extreme. If I can
Wow.
make it out, then I'll be good. First 10 minutes, nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Um, and that's actually how I found my process. And my process is basically just enjoy the process. Don't worry about the final outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I might create a dope piece, or it might look like crap. But the important thing is I enjoy doing it. And I find that, when you do something enough and you enjoy doing it, you slowly become better without even realizing it.
It's
And
true.
that, yeah, so that's a long-winded way of saying, yeah, it's a bunch of things that got me interested in painting.
You said that because I was asking about like your fear. So you said no one even saw them. Did you just like create and just kind of like have your art like say either in your room or just kind of store it away? What did you do with the art that you didn't show anybody?
No, I couldn't even paint for myself. That's
Oh,
the
you
thing.
couldn't do it. Oh,
I did
really?
I did one thing in high school, and it probably wasn't even fair to me. We had to paint on a T-shirt,
Okay.
so I never really gave myself a chance to paint on a
Ah,
canvas.
okay.
Yeah, that was the only piece that I painted.
Did someone say something about painting before? Like for you to feel this way? Like did anyone like say it's harder to do this and then that kind of created something or no?
No, it was more a matter of control over um, the brush. I felt like with a pencil, a marker, pencil crayon,
Ah.
um, I had so much control,
Mm-hmm.
and I could do exactly what I wanted to do with it. With a paintbrush, it's totally different. I was just really wasn't familiar with it, and in high school, it's like the amount of judgment in high school is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
I wasn't at that place. Um, I think that was the one area in high school that I was insecure about.
Oh,
Every,
okay. Okay.
everything else was good. I didn't fall into peer pressure for anything. But when it came to my art, that was like a real sore spot for me.
I get it. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. So what images do you like to create?
Um, Primarily stuff on like Black love. My art is based on, I just guess, how Black love, Black women, Black men are portrayed
Mm-hmm.
um, everywhere in art. Um, I just wanted to present a different narrative. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Comes out in, I guess, all different shapes, sizes. Um, right now, like early on in my career, it's been a lot of women that I've been painting.
Mm-hmm.
As of 2018, I'm still going to be painting women, but now I'm going to be introducing more men into my body of work, as well as families, stuff with fathers and their children, um, just like a combination of families and how they look different.
Okay.
I'm even going to be doing like same-sex couples. Just understanding that beauty isn't uh, only attached to what the the standard is currently, which
Mm-hmm.
is like bodied, heterosexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
So another question: does your culture, like, say, influence your art, and how so?
Um, I believe it does, and it's one of those things where I don't necessarily need to think about it
Mm-hmm.
or try to be deliberate in it.
Yeah.
I think it just comes out naturally. Like so, in the vibrant colors that I use, like it's definitely cultural, like the warm colors, and even if they're not warm colors, like I make it a point to be vibrant,
Mm-hmm.
not with the intention of being cultural, but I feel like it's attached to my culture.
So you've been like doing art, like creating, like you said, for 25 years.
I'm probably over that. I started when I was 5.
Oh, okay.
I'm 37 now,
Mm-hmm.
so and then I took like 6, 7 years off.
Oh yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the math is on that. I firmly believe that everybody has an artistic gift, and but it just really depends on what their media or their medium or their platform is, like their form of art is.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, it's painting. Other people, it's dance, singing, um, even like creating connections for other people.
Mm.
Um, Whatever it is, and then so that's how I define art. And I feel like one of the main purposes for art is to heal yourself and to heal others.
Wow.
Um,
Okay. So you're into
and
art therapy then?
I am,
Okay.
and not in the traditional sense. I believe that you don't necessarily need a degree for it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so long as like you're really mindful in creating spaces that are safe for people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it becomes therapy. Hence, Heart Lounge
Oh,
and
okay.
Fridays and a bunch of other stuff that I created over the years.
Who are your favorite artists? Who do you like?
Um, I'm not too familiar with the art world, like historically.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, they talked a lot about Picasso and Van Gogh and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I I can never really identify, just being a black man and always wanting to figure out which, like, beyond them, like, is there anybody that looks like me? A lot of my inspiration just comes from people that I connect with over social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of my oldest friends, we've been friends since the first grade, an artist by the name of Eric Tigley.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd say he's one of my favorites only because like I've learned so much from him. There's so many actually on Instagram. I would have to compile a list and just send it to you.
As I wrapped up the interview, I thank Kofi for speaking with me, as well as sharing his truth about how his fear became his passion. But he also took the time to thank me for creating a platform for artists.
I think like people like you, like what you do,
Mm-hmm.
is so necessary. A lot of times, like artists such as myself, we get a lot of praise in the community. I think what is not really appreciated is how it is that we gain the popularity that we gain.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes from the support from people like you create blogs and platforms for more people to see our work. So like anytime I see that, I just get excited and I'm like, yeah, let me support the people who support other people.
Thanks for the love, Kofi. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Words with Michelle, the podcast. Just a reminder, you can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also listen to the shows on my blog at wordswithmichelle.com. If you have any questions or like to provide a comment or feedback, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at michelle@wordswithmichelle.com. You can also email me if you're interested in sponsoring my podcast. Thanks again for listening to the show. Until next time, bye.